Yeah. Yes. You're not getting Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals for the hearing of Tuesday, August 26, 2025. It being the appointed hour of 7 p.m., I am going to go ahead and open this meeting and take a moment and introduce myself as well as my colleagues. We will be dealing with a few housekeeping matters, including the business of requested continuances that are applications that are on our agenda. My name is Rob Champetti. I have the privilege of serving as chair. To my immediate left is Ken Swan, our vice chair. To his left, Mr. Stephen Delisle, our secretary. To his left, Mr. Gregory Bennick, our zoning member. Mr. Walter Shannon, zoning member. Mr. Larry Ginta is an associate member and is on his way, should be walking in shortly. We'll just take his affirmative role when he arrives. And then Mr. Jared Eigerman, also associate member. The way we will conduct our business this evening is we will begin by, of course, going through a roll call, which formalizes that we have established the legal voting members of the ZBA are here, are present, and on the record. I will call the roll and we will determine if it isn't already obvious who's here. We will also establish, and this is more of a legal basis, of the 5 voting members of the ZBA this evening. Of the 7 that may be present at max, only 5 will be voting. The other 2 as associates serve in every other capacity other than to vote. That includes deliberations, questions, participation, and otherwise, and will themselves step up into a voting role in the event that a voting member must recuse themselves due to conflict or being in butter or other matters. So what we will do, just to lay the land as I look at this room, we don't have that many folks in the room, so I will be kind of a bridge to this because it looks like many of you may already know it. We will go through our agenda in the order in which we have it on our agenda. Everything that you're hearing me say and everything that I refer to is also being broadcast simultaneously behind me. All the members have laptops up. So if you see us not looking at us, please know that we're not missing anything. We're seeing exactly what you're seeing, as is a simultaneous, for the time being, simultaneous broadcast online. For the moment, the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals has, since COVID, been publishing a hybrid version of this meeting, which is now coming to a close. And with notice, deliberation, and a vote, we will be promulgating additional bylaws for the ZBA by which we will hope to streamline our process and require anyone who wishes to participate to be in the room and present unless it is a member themselves who can't be, and that is sort of aligned with the Attorney General's rule and standard post-COVID, as well as many cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth, including our own city with other boards and commissions. So that will be more to come about that. For the time being, we are broadcasting simultaneously through this OWL system. So anyone who wishes to speak, we do ask that you take the podium so that the microphone can record you, and we will ask you to name and address so that Ms. Gretchen Joy, to my far right, keeper of the minutes, can record things. To her left is Ms. Caitlin Sullivan, our city planner, and to my immediate right, Andy Port, our planning director for the city of Newburyport. So without further ado, I'll take the roll. We'll get things going and we'll get right into our agenda. The first things that we will take care of this evening will be the matters on our agenda, which we have received requests for continuance, and we will go through that and take on the rest of the business of this evening. So without further ado, calling the roll, the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals. Please, members of the ZBA, respond with either here or present. Mr. Swan, here. Mr. Delisle, here. Mr. Bennett, here. Mr. Shannon, here. Mr. Ginta, Mr. Iger, here. Rob Champetti, I'm here. That is 6 present. That establishes us a quorum. For the moment, the 5 voting members will be myself, Mr. Swanton, Mr. Delisle, Mr. Bennett, and Mr. Shannon. Mr. Ginta, who is shortly to arrive, and Mr. Eigerman will be our alternates. And as I mentioned, will participate every way except voting unless there is an application for which a member who is voting among the 5 must recuse. So going through to our next meeting, on our agenda to our next bullet point. We have our public hearings. The first matter that's before us is the application of Nick Loudry, 234 Merrimack Street. This is a matter that was continued from 6/24/2025. It's a three-pronged application. The applicant was seeking three elements of relief: a special permit for a multifamily use, a special permit to allow the demolition of the structure within the demolition control overlay district, or the DCOD, and then finally the third, which was a variance for relief from frontage. The applicant is seeking a request to withdraw without prejudice. Without prejudice simply means that unless the board finds otherwise, without prejudice means that they may come back before us with a reapplication or resubmission. There is no prejudice bestowed upon them for their withdrawal, nothing that would penalize them in any way. They're simply deciding to not go forward. So with that, members of the ZBA, do we have any comments, questions, deliberations, or do we have a motion to allow the applicant's request to withdraw without prejudice?
Chairman, this one predates me, so I can't participate.
Thank you. So our five voting members are Mr. Shannon, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Lyle, Mr. Swan, and myself. Mr. Ackerman is recused, and Mr. Ginta is yet to arrive. So of the voting members, well, actually, of the voting members, and unless Mr. Ackerman was not conflicted out, he would be able to participate. But is there any comment, any deliberation? And if not, we have a motion and a second to accept the applicant's request to withdraw without prejudice. Thank you, Mr. Swanton. And the second, Mr. Delisle, motion is made to accept the applicant's request to withdraw without prejudice by Mr. Swanton, seconded by Mr. Delisle. Calling the roll, Mr. Swanton.
Yes.
Mr. Delisle.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
I vote yes, that's five in the affirmative. The ayes have it, motion carries. Matter is withdrawn from our docket without prejudice. Moving now to the matter of 45 Story Avenue. This is the Port Plaza Realty Trust, care of Lisa Mead, Teller and Costa LLC. This is a continuation of an application for a comprehensive permit, also known as a 40B application, on 45 Story Avenue, continued from July 22nd, 2025. Attorney Mead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the board. I know everybody was excited to talk about traffic this evening. However, we received the board's peer review report at 7 o'clock this morning, 6:51 actually. And therefore, and it included new things that our traffic engineer had not anticipated, and wanted to review. It was a pretty significant document, and he did not have time to do that today. And so we're requesting a continuance to September 23rd, where also we'll be talking about stormwater.
Attorney Mead, so your intention is to present both traffic study, traffic analysis, as well as
Stormwater,
getting the storm.
civil and stormwater.
So basically, and for those that are familiar with sort of our opening and how we laid out in anticipation the organizational structure of the comprehensive permit, we thought of it, though it is malleable to be revised, as separate subject matter verticals. Traffic analysis, stormwater, geotech, hydrotech, design, other things, so that we can organize the subject matter. So the first matter before us was to be traffic. And it sounds like we will hear from, with respect to both traffic, as well as stormwater. Members of the ZBA, comments, or questions for Attorney Mead? Mr. Swan.
Yeah, I guess my concern is, we had our last real hearing on this back on June 24th, which was a long time ago. And at that time, we were hoping to have a discussion. July 22nd. But that got continued a month. Now we have to continue for another month. By continuing the traffic conversations for a total of 60 days before we actually begin to talk about it. Chunk of our deliberation time, we only have 80 days that we have to respond to this comprehensive permit, which is the biggest project we've ever had. To give up a third of that time while the consultants are report. Involved. I'm not enthused about using up so much of the time we have left, waiting for the traffic guys to talk to us. I'd like to get involved. So I guess my question is, would you be willing to extend the 180-day time frame because of this big delay you're making on the track?
I think the answer tonight is no, because there's only 2 months into the process. And if I could just go back with the dates, I think it's important, if I could. So you're right, we opened on 6/24. We didn't get text peer review until 7/17. That was a Friday. The hearing was on 7/22. Part of that peer review required additional counts. So we couldn't come back on 7/22. So we asked for continuance. So we had to do those additional counts and all of the other information tech requested, which is fine. So we did it. So we got tech our report, our response, their response on 8/18, a week ago Monday. And we didn't receive the response until today. So I don't think it's, and you weren't casting any aspersions that somehow it was our delay. But there's some delays in here that we had no control, right? So at this time, I don't have the authority to grant an extension. We're early in the process. I know it seems like we're not early in the process, but once these first reviews happen on the 23rd, I think you'll see things move a lot faster. And excuse me, after that meeting, if we think that that's necessary, then we'll have that conversation. But I think it's too early at this time. And frankly, I don't have the authority to grant that extension tonight.
The other problem with the 23rd is I was assuming that's when we'd be following up. I don't think it's going to fit into one evening. The 23rd, we already have 4 of the hearings scheduled. Thought of doing a decent job on traffic and finishing it and doing stormwater is really not realistic.
Well, opening storm.
Opening storm, yeah, but opening traffic, closing traffic, and opening stormwater just on top of 4 hearings.
No, agreed.
I just don't see it. So I would like to be talking about it. Can't see just continuing. Because we're using up the amount of time we have to learn and talk. We've never discussed this among ourselves since the 24th. So another alternative is a special meeting. Meeting anybody, I'm just saying, this is not all going to fit into the 23rd. You're unwilling to extend the time frame. We just don't have time to wrestle with the issues.
Mr. Swan, I'm not unwilling to extend the time frame. I'm not willing to do it tonight, and I don't have the authority to do it tonight. So I'm not unwilling to do it. This is a collaborative process. Look, you've seen me a lot of times up here for many, many years. I'm not backing anybody into any corners. I don't have the authority to do it tonight. I don't think it's necessary to do it tonight. That's not at all saying we're not ever going to do it. And frankly, if I backed you into a corner and the board proved that it was our delay without any response, the board has a right to just extend. So I don't think you can do it now because I think the delays have not been on us, frankly, but it's not going to happen.
So I have another question, which if our consultant had not sent a report yesterday,
This morning,
and it simply come to the tonight's meeting and said, and sending it to you, we'd probably be having the meeting, right? I mean, basically, you're saying you're delaying because you got this in the paper.
well, we got an email and we're saying that there was information in there that was unexpected and unreviewed. And no professional is going to stand up here without knowing what that report is. And he frankly had other things to do today. It's just not, it's a lot, it's detailed, it's important, it needs to be right.
It's so important, we will never fit it in the paper.
If I might, I don't want to truncate Mr. Swanton's comments. Many of mine, I certainly find myself in line with others on this board may as well. I think that this is the first next hearing of 40B, and by that, I think if it isn't clear, it is only the first next hearing, though I think there is an expectation of cadence we had allowed ourselves to become comfortable with, because we're sort of working backwards from this antithetical terminus of 180 days, though flexible and changeable if it comes to pass. I think what we're hearing, and I'll just, I don't mean to put words in anyone's mouth, but Attorney Mead is saying that they are certainly they're open to being open to that. And at the end of the day, this board also has discretion legally to extend it if we feel as though the process has been deprived of its due process. And that's something that's still within our hands. But for tonight, if you don't have the authority, then allow Mr. Swanton's comments with my alignment to just be a suggestion that we're now looking at this with an eye towards 6 months from now, so as to not find ourselves 6 months from now wondering where all the time.
No,
I think
I
that
disagree.
if we, in fair-mindedness, that is something we may need to rebroach, know that it's being raised tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mr. Swanton's not necessarily alone in any of those thinking, but I want to see what the rest of the board has to say, but Mr. Swanton,
No,
I didn't want
I'd like to hear the.
to, okay, then, Mr. Beck?
A couple questions. Are you intending, is your expert intending to put together a response to the city's expert?
Oh, absolutely.
And can we, when can we see that in the record?
So I don't know, he didn't tell us today, when that would be, but the goal would be to get it in plenty of time for TEC to turn around their response to the board as well. So, you know, Mr. Bennett, so you're thinking for 2 weeks, maybe,
2 weeks?
which would be 2 weeks before the meeting.
Fine, for me, but I just wondered, just a question, what's wrong with the
Well, so I'm in Western Mass at another meeting on September.
I understand, I believe it's your expert enough for me to review this. It's disappointing that our hearings the way they go, 2 weeks, you know, if this were in court, we could do a day or 2 days and put on. I take Mr. Swan's point, it's a significant one. I take your, in good faith, your response to him. I would suggest that a condition to this approval of this extension be a requirement. Your response to the city's report be submitted within 2 weeks.
I'm gonna tell,
Fair, is that-
I think that I'm not writing it,
I understand.
so I will express that to,
No.
I will tell Mr. Dirk that that is the expectation and requirement of the board.
With all due respect, we do not conduct our hearings based upon your experts. 2 weeks is adequate time for the expert to submit a report. You've been going back and forth. I absolutely will not vote for extension unless that's
So
conditioned.
that's fine, and I'll tell him that, but I request the same of your expert to turn around and give it to us at least a week or at least more than the day of, or the Friday, the meeting
I take that point.
of the meeting.
Say, it's a little disappointing that it's so long. I think we bear a significant blame for this.
If I could, just to clarify, there was supplemental information. I don't know that their turnaround time was significant when they got additional information here to review, so.
Well, I'm gonna give you the dates again. Let's be really clear what the dates are. We had a hearing on 6/24, and you had our peer review report at that time. Actually, you had it 30 days before that. Okay? We didn't get their report until 7/17, which was the Friday before the 7/22 meeting. We then were required to do additional counts and other work. And so we got his report, we got our expert's report back to TEC on 8/18, a week ago Monday. We got his report this morning.
Yeah, it took a week. Again, a week to me does not sound like a significant, time frame issue for a consultant to turn around in a situation like this. Just to be clear, I'm not sure that that is necessarily.
But Can I, if I might expect, I don't mean to interrupt, Mr. Ford, but I will say that from my seat, it isn't about the week, it isn't about that it is a week, it's about that it is this particular week. The timing of delivery, though it took 7 days, it's not about the 7 days, it's about the seventh day. The placement of the seventh day puts us at a disadvantage as a board and as a city, and it's not on you but we need to, we will need to, in order to meet this this timeline with credibility, we must be robust in our drive forward. We must hold ourselves and each other accountable to a timing that might not be comfortable, might not be convenient, and surely won't. And for all of us up here, all of you, we are here this evening, and most that will be in the audience, and the applicant and their professionals, and our peer review consultants. All of us will have to equally burden the pinch of slight inconvenience to make sure that the seventh day isn't simply a measure of 7 days. We have to make sure that we think about big picture, because the reality is that the seventh day of those 7 days, while 7 days was just a week, and that's reasonable, it lands in a way that puts us at a disadvantage that we as a board now sit here and say, yes, but I get it, you're not prepared to go forward, but it's what contributes to that is that you received something this morning, as did we. Maybe going forward, we just have to be more communicative with our peers, and we will hold the applicant's consultants to the exact same standard. If we don't, and we don't just get okay with the discomfort of all, knowing that it's not discourteous, it's just discomfort, we will not make the 180 days.
And so I want to be really clear also, like, not only did we respond to the TEC report, we responded to the DPW report, we responded to the city's engineer report, and we put a presentation in yesterday in anticipation of presenting tonight. So we were all ready to go. And that's what happened this morning. So I agree with Mr. Dunning, 2 weeks. And I'm hopeful that we'll get the city's review at least a week before the meeting as well.
Mr. Swanton had, Mr. Rackman. Mr. Rackman.
Yeah, I side with Mr. Bannock on this. I think this is the way to go. I mean, this is where we are. They don't have their expert here. The applicant doesn't have their expert.
Right.
We are where we are. Going forward, I think if the board is inclined to grant a continuance, which, makes sense, because we don't have everyone here, you should condition it on 2 weeks deadline for a response from BAI, and then 1 week in advance from our. But what I wanted to point out is that a lot of the comments, and I think a lot of us spend a lot of time reading all of this stuff. So before you continue, for the benefit of the public and the applicant, I think we should give some feedback. I mean, as Mr. Swanton said, we opened this thing 60 days ago. We haven't said anything. So for example, I don't want the public or the applicant to think that consultants off on an island. We have some of the same rights, same questions. And a lot of what the tech sent back this morning at 6:50 a.m. was just a reiteration of what they had written before. It wasn't new. It was just saying, I'm still not happy, is what it said. So I think we need to, we do everything before we just show up here in a month. Shouldn't we at least, talk about those issues so we know what's on the table? And then, yes, of course, we don't have to respond. If we want time, and I'll respond next.
Mr. Chair, I would greatly urge the board not to do that. We do not have our expert here. I would want our expert to be here to hear what the board has to say. I'm asking for a continuance. I do not want a discussion tonight. I don't have my expert. I don't have either my engineer or my traffic engineer. I don't have my client. I do not want to have a discussion tonight. It is entirely inappropriate for them not to hear directly what the board has to say.
I gotta say to my colleagues, I don't disagree with that. I feel like it might feel good in the short term, but I don't think it serves us effectively, other than to know that we've said it out loud. I don't think it resonates. People tuned to this subject matter are not here, and that frustrates me, as I'm sure it frustrates you. But Mr. Agnew, I agree with you. It serves I feel that it advances our interest, because I think we're just going to have to say those things again. The experts in this subject matter, I mean, well, let me ask you this, let me stop. We're not. So, as I say that out loud, these are just our thoughts and comments as lay experts or lay people who serve, not as the traffic experts speaking in peership to your traffic, to your experts. So why not just simply hear what our thoughts are?
I do not want to have my traffic expert not here, and I am objecting to it. I'm gonna put it on the record. If this board continues with having a discussion without our traffic expert and our engineer here to hear what the board has to say. I think it's entirely inappropriate. I put the request for continuance in the portal. Other people may have seen it and not be here and want to hear the discussion. I think it's inappropriate. I'm objecting to it. And
I hear and respect the objection, and certainly we note it, but let me unpack a bit more of this for just a moment, Attorney.
Oh, I mean, in my view, I don't think much would be gained by having a generalized chit chat about traffic issues without hearing the experts. I don't think that moves the ball much. I do want to ask another follow-up question. That is, maybe is there a stream of written communication between the city and the applicant here? I mean,
just the peer review reports
okay.
that you see that are in
There are
there.
no other written communiques that should be in this record that would inform.
No.
Okay. All right, so as long as we're kind of drilling down on this, you indicated we're going to do stormwater.
Yes.
Well,
Never get.
whether we do or do not, are you intending to submit another on that issue as well?
Oh, absolutely, and that should be ready a couple of weeks before the meeting as well. I haven't touched base with him this week, but I know that they're doing their calculations.
All right, let me ask you a question. Are you awaiting, because you're expert on stormwater, awaiting the communication information from the city's expert on this?
I don't know. I believe the answer is no. We were asked to do more engineering calculations that require a bunch of other things to happen, and that's what they're working on. And
That's
it's
his report.
right.
And questions, providing his comments, and the ball has been in the applicant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, that's correct.
fine.
Right.
So I would also request, and I would urge that we consider attaching it to a condition of this extension that.
So, Mr. Benning, on that one, I really can't say that because I know that they were asked. So they provided, I'm just gonna give you an example. As part of our application in their initial report, they provided the velocity calculations for the stormwater for our site.
Excuse me, when did you get the information from the city, the questions from the city?
Hmm, 2-3 weeks ago, something like that.
Come on,
So may I finish, please? They have asked, instead of saying no, they have asked for us to provide the velocity calculations for the entire shopping center area, which were never done because that's not our application. And so our expert agreed to provide those to the city's peer review person. And so it's not something that could be done overnight. It's a significant piece of engineering calculation.
I don't know whether it is or isn't.
I'm telling you it is from our,
I mean, how big, what's in a bread loaf? I don't know how long it's going to take. Your expert has been telling us how long it is. All I'm saying is that in my experience, a board which has authority over an application said we need expert opinion reports. It's not driven by the applicant,
correct.
it's driven by this board. And you've had that on August 7th, and we're going to September 23rd. I cannot imagine if you're expert on stormwater or salt, they can't do that in a week or two before.
So what we can do is just refuse to provide that additional information if they don't have it, because it's on the entire site.
Are
It's
you
not on the
objecting to that
information.
now?
Nope, you can go ahead.
Well, then I suggest.
I don't
that
have
you-
information from my client. I
Hold
mean,
on,
from my
hold on, hold on. Well, I want to pursue this. If you think that, that the questions and the request is objectionable, then I suggest you file an objection now and not wait later on and further delay these proceedings.
We're not objecting to, it. We
Okay.
agreed to.
All right, so your word is that you're gonna provide them, you don't object to them. Now it's just a question of when you can do it.
What, in the.
Okay, I'd like you then to report to Mr. Port, by the end of the week as to when your expert get that.
I can absolutely do that.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. Just don't, I have no problem with that.
We're not going to be hamstrung by, various experts' schedule and your schedule. We have a job here. We have to do it. Giving you plenty of opportunity to do this.
I have no problem giving you that information before the end of the week, or giving it to Mr. Ford.
Just quickly, just to assist them, the office perspective, our intention, obviously, as soon as we get that information back from the applicant, the additional information here, is to do his review, quickly go on the second review, so you have his input as well when we go back. We would turn that around.
Just one.
I think it's totally unrealistic to be thinking about stormwater on the 23rd. We have 4 other hearings that traffic's gonna take
That's
long.
suggesting do a special hearing. The town I was in, we never did 40 Bs on the same day. Especially in the beginning. It's just too big.
All right,
I think
that's on the
stress
table.
out.
We'll put that as well.
And it'd make it easier for the app.
When would we consider doing a special meeting?
About the interim week, what,
You're talking about the second, sorry, the 16.
16. We're meeting on the 16th.
16th of September.
Yes,
Strictly 40B, strictly stormwater and traffic.
Just through the traffic.
Well, it's whatever it is.
whatever we can get traffic.
And maybe I,
Yeah.
well, at least the traffic.
That would be unless.
Is this,
I can do it, but I don't,
Just to be clear, the 16th, just to be clear, the offices, and our newspaper actually, but, we have to actually staff. Commission that night, I don't know what happened on the agenda that night, I'm not sure whether that be an issue.
it doesn't have to be a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
You can do anything.
Yeah.
Once you do a non-board night to
what, is the 30th of Concom meeting too?
30th of,
30th of September.
Well, because what I was gonna suggest is that we stick with traffic on the 23rd and then do stormwater the next week on the.
if I might, turn to me, let me suggest, let's open our minds at this moment to the commitment that we're gonna need a special meeting in September. Date to be determined. But we will be back with only traffic analysis on the applicant's requested continuance date. And at that date, we can confirm what we want to have a special meeting, and we can make it known to the people in that group, who would be members of the audience, so as participants in this process, that we will be having a special meeting, though it would be published anyway, additional communication tether to public part of this process. But I would say we should think about when that could be, and it can't be, it can't / shouldn't be a meeting evening where there's already a board commitment by Ms. Joy, Ms. Sullivan, Mr. Ford.
If I could just
Can I-
one note I would make is, trying to, one thing we'd also want to be able to verify so we can get this space, sorry, something else is happening, so the earlier knows we have that.
Well, I suppose we can earmark it this evening, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that we have to republish it verbally as well as in writing. So it's clear for the members of the public that we participate in this process, going off and off calendar to do a special meeting, that would be either a continuation of traffic analysis and or continuation of traffic analysis, and to the extent available, stormwater.
But what I'm gonna say to you is we will be ready for both on the 23rd, understanding you don't necessarily wanna do both on the 23rd.
Well, we'll let the evening tell us.
Right. But we will be ready to do both, and then you can decide, understand there may be a special meeting.
What, why don't we just take a moment so that we can conclude this continuance request? give the office, planning office, some certainty as to what to plan for venue, for staff, and such. What dates do work? What dates do work?
Dates that, again, we can,
30th of September?
well, again, that was a suggestion of a date for.
Likely to be a date in September.
What happened on September 17th?
Is that right?
Oh.
Again, sorry, we're.
So we can't, so there's three things that compete with us. There are the board's schedule, and there's the availability of the space.
Not the 18th.
The
18th
we could do. But the only thing we have. The 18th, we should do as long as we can verify the. Can't verify ourselves or anything, we should check it. Or at least they.
18th of September.
If for some reason. If some reason this. I'll try to get another space. But I think just use it.
So the problem is, whatever we do tonight, if it's before the 23rd, that's when the continuance would
Right.
be.
Just wanna be clear about
So you would
that.
need to know, and I don't know the availability, but it is what it is.
We got that. So at least I'm gonna take a big on that date anyway.
All right, so,
The 30th is, yeah, Tuesday.
Where it is not, at least right now, there's not.
how about the 30th? The 30th is a rated to corrections point, it's a rare fit Tuesday. It's Tuesday, which aligns with,
So we do the 23rd and the 30th.
yes.
If I may, just as a friendly suggestion, although I understand Ken's concern, I would not preclude the board or the applicant from being able to make progress in any aspect of the review, given the time for issues you talked about. To me, I would leave that open, well, you recognize it might be progress, get that. Yourself being additional grounded for some reason isn't bad.
Why don't we pencil in both the 23rd and the 30th?
Yep. Agreed. I mean, if that,
I mean, certainly we'll have something.
I would suggest, since there's a lot of people who will be coming, our consultants,
Yeah.
our consultants, the city engineer, on the 23rd, rather than they sit around for 2 hours waiting for 4 hearings.
Yeah.
Maybe we do it first for an hour or something, or then do the other hearing.
Yep.
Just a lot of people to sit around. there.
we actually had this discussion, yeah. I think that our original plan was to place the 40B at the end of every evening's agenda. I think we have been given to revisit that in that it may be easier to prioritize the comprehensive permit so that we can try to get through that subject matter where most of the participants are include city experts who are being paid paid by the city and by the public taxpayer, are here, for the benefit of the board and the process are available. We should capitalize upon their availability and be efficient and economical as to the cost of their availability. And so I think we should prioritize that. It's in the public interest to do so, which means that other applications of which there would only be 3, possibly 4, will be on due notice that to the extent to which we can arrive at your application, we will endeavor to do so, but we should let them know at the outset that you are welcome to request a continuance if you do not wish to wait to see. And I think that is the closest thing to a sort of fair notice to those applications. That will be one of the 2 or 3 on an evening where we have a 40B application. And I think it is in the public interest as well as the process, credibility and interest to give priority to the fact that there will be paid experts on behalf of the city to peer review the applicants, not to mention the applicants' experts, but the city will be paying through the public taxpayer dole, the experts that will be sitting in a room waiting to be.
So Robert, you're saying the 23rd for sure is transportation and parking night for this project.
And that,
Everyone should have the reports in. Sorry, they should have their reports in 2 weeks in advance. We should have our reports in 1 week in advance.
Correct.
And we're by hell or high water, we're gonna do transportation on the 23rd. Is that what you're saying? so that they know who to bring. She knows.
We should all be prepared for
Works for
transportation,
me.
and this way we are leaning into
Okay.
forward movement. And if it proves impossible or impractical, we'll know that.
Right.
But it won't be for want of setting it up where we have the right people in the room.
Okay, and we'll take them first that night. So
Absolutely.
sure we're covering.
Is everybody okay with that? We have to take-
Yeah.
One little break. This morning, um, have a great discussion on the 23rd, but we may conclude it needs to continue a little bit. So it may start out the meeting on the 30th, may or may not, we don't know.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, so I just want to set the expectation that it may not be all.
We may not, I understand, but I want to make sure that so the applicant knows to bring the whole army and the public knows they'll be here.
Right.
Third.
But you don't need to bring the stormwater people on the 23rd and bring them on the 30th. You might have to bring some transportation people back on the 30th. We don't know. We'll know that on the 23rd.
So that's fine. So we're just doing traffic on the 23rd and potentially both on the 30th.
And I don't think you want to pay your stormwater. You just won't get to it.
On the 30th.
No, on the 23rd.
No, I know, right, that's what I just confirmed.
Okay, I'm just checking the calendar here. Okay. Anything further?
So, Mr. Chair, I request continuance to September 23rd with the agreement that a traffic report on our end will be turned around in 2 weeks. And with the expectation that TEC will have their report to us a week in advance, and that we will have a date to Andy by the end of this week about the submittal date of the civil engineer.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Mead. So moved. That's well said. Motion, maybe so, we want to just adopt that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Delisle. Motion made by Mr. Swan to continue the matter as described by the applicant's attorney, Attorney Mead, until the meeting of September, what was it? 23rd. Why that's taking me. 31, there's only 30 days to choose from. 23rd. Calling the roll, Mr. Swan.
Yes.
Mr. Delisle.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
Mr. Chen.
Yeah.
I vote yes, it's 5 in the affirmative, the ayes have it. With the conditions as prescribed, the motion carries, and we will see you on the 23rd.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Concluding the two matters that we had continuances for, we will get into the substantive applications that are before us this evening. This is the application of Reed Green, 5 Dawes Street, continued from August 12th, 2025. This is a variance application to conduct an accessory structure to construct an accessory structure requiring relief from the side and rear yard setback as well as lot coverage. May we hear from the applicant, and I believe we have Mr. Reed Green, the owner.
And green and down green.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. So we took your advice as far as, bringing the garage in, so a special permit for nonconformity to allow a 7-foot, 20-foot addition to the existing garage that's non-conforming to the rear setback. An expansion of non-conforming structure. The existing garage is non-conforming to the rear setback, and any addition will continue with that non-conformity. The existing garage is a 2-foot, 2.1 foot rear setback, with the proposed addition setback would be 3.3 feet. The addition will not be more non-conforming to the existing garage. The existing 3.7 foot shed, which is now attached to it, will be removed. And the new addition will be taking part of that. The addition is conforming to the left side of the setback at 10.3 feet. Lot coverage is under the 25% required, and the open space is at 56%, or 40% is the minimum required. So I think those are 2 items that were required. There will be no addition to a new non-conformity. The proposed change will not be more substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. Addition will mimic scale and design of the existing structure with a matching hip roof. Hip roofs structure are in more open air. There are other non-conforming accessory structures on the abutting properties, and all are minimum of plus or minus 34 feet from this structure. The existing garage now is in disrepair. With the addition, structure will be renovated, improved the presence in the neighborhood, and will actually be functional, where right now it is functional. Given the size and layout of the property, there is no optimal location for the garage. In addition, we better align with the existing.
Very good. Is there anything else you wanted to add? So, we can continue with that, and if we have any questions, we'll let you know. Thank you. You're welcome to stay. It's coming, and you're also welcome to sit down. Okay, so, closing the presentation part of the public hearing, going to the room, do we have any public comment? Anyone wish to speak in connection with the application? Seeing no hands. I see no hands online. Can you see any hands? We'll close public comment and go to questions from the board. Wish to pose a question to our applicant?
I'll just pose one in form of clarification.
Sure.
So by shrinking it, we went from a variance to a special permit. And you also felt that within the lot coverage. I think you were over the lot coverage before, now you're,
May have been just a little bit over. Now it's.
but now it's just a special permit, and it's only because of the rear set. The existing buildings.
Right.
That's great. Thank you.
Excellent. Any further questions from the board? Seeing no further. Yes.
You have in here a very nice letter of a butter support submitted on the 26th. And you have 5 people signing it. Were they talking about this new plan?
Yeah.
Well, the first 3 signed with the original. And the 2 that we got today basically signed the same paper that we showed them. The first 3 were on the original ones, basically shrunk down by 4 or 5 feet or so. So it's based on.
It was just a little unclear, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Being no hands, we'll close questions and go to deliberations. Again, we're deliberating the applicant's request. And we have a variance standard to review, so.
It's not a variance.
Oh, sorry,
Special permit. Even though it said that on the back.
pause for a moment. So saying the words. So, we will be deliberating the special permit criteria. Mr. Shannon, why don't you get?
I guess the first thing that's great is they've gone from variance to a special permit, which is easier for us. Variances. There is no new non-conformity. Step to take, and the second one is it won't be significantly more detrimental to the neighborhood. I think even in the last iteration, we felt it wasn't more detrimental, other than it's a variance and it's well into the side here. I think a lot of bad things going. With that said, I support this. I think it fits a special permit way it was written, and I would vote yea.
Good. Any further deliberations?
I would just say I concur with my colleague, and they also got under the coverage ratio as well as the.
This is a good one.
Yeah, I would agree with, Mr. Swan and Mr. Shagnon. Now we're in a much better spot than we were 2 weeks ago, so, I think, the side setback at 10 feet is, really good, so I'm in support of this.
Okay. Anything further before we close deliberations? I think we've addressed criteria. I'll close deliberations. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, to approve 5 Dodge Street. The docket is variance 25-5. Was it given a new number for
No.
Just keep it that way.
Yep.
Even though it's been reduced to the special permit.
Yes.
To approve the 5 Dodge Street VAR 25-.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. So motion made by Mr. Shannon to approve and second Mr. Bennett on the special permit for nonconformities as amended from variance. All in the roll, Mr. Swan.
Yes.
Mr. Delisle.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Vote yes, it's 5 in the affirmative. The ayes have it and the motion carries. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. The last application before us this evening in public hearings is the application on 18 Union Street. This is the application for D Kitchen and N Sullivan by Lisa Mead, Tellerman and Costs. This is an application for a special permit for nonconformities. The applicant seeks all necessary permits, permissions, and approvals to modify a front setback nonconformity with 18-inch height increase at the mudroom and to construct the addition at the rear. Can you make it?
Chair Champetti.
Yes.
I'm gonna recuse on this one. I've only met the architect Kevin twice, but I serve on a board with him
Very good.
in the Newburyport Preservation Trust, so I'll just.
Very good. The 5 voting members remain myself, Mr. Swanton, Mr. Delisle, Mr. Shannon, and Mr. Ginta will be our alternate participating in all matters except on the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. For the record, Lisa Mead, telling across 33 Street, Newburyport, and with me this evening is Kevin Latati, who's the architect on the project. Also, Nellie Kitchen is here, and with her husband, David's not here because he's home with a new 2-week-old baby that was born the same night we were at the historic commission. So, that would be Lisa Beatrice. So we're here for special permit for nonconformities. David and Nellie proposed to renovate their home by adding an addition to the rear and changing the pitch of the east mudroom to allow for sufficient headroom to allow them to walk out onto the proposed porch. And it's actually a 14-inch increase and not an 18-inch increase, as we said. The property is located in the R2 zoning district. It's a single-family structure. It's also part of the demolition control overlay district, although also more than 75 years old, and is listed as contributory under the district data sheets. When you see the photos in a little bit, you'll see the property is actually in around 1780, according to the Form B, where it's described as colonial. The assessor's records have it dated at 1800, and the district data sheets say that it's 1750. Where it's described as a central chimney half house, which it's listed as contributory. And you all may know this, but I learned this at the Historic Commission when they used to define homes as half houses. That was because there was an intention to build the other half later when they had the funds to do that. So that's how it's listed, and you'll see the design in a little bit. So if you go to the next slide, please. So here's the my maps. What you might notice on this particular lot is that it's big for the south end, and for Union Street, it's actually a conforming lot in every way except for the yard setback. So this lot meets the area and frontage requirements and every other aspect of it except for the front yard setback. And so we're actually here basically on a conforming lot, front yard setback with a 14-inch increase in the front yard nonconformity. So the property includes 11,691 square feet, where 10,000 are required. And has 99 feet of frontage, where 90 feet are required. And as I said, it conforms in all ways except the front yard setback is 4.1 feet, where 25 feet are required. Next slide. So the applicant is requesting as part of this, and the reason that we're here is the upward extension of that front yard setback, that roof height change on the mudroom, and it is adding 684 square feet. So that's why we're here in front of the board. That upward extension actually happens at 23.7 feet, so not quite to 25, but at 23. Next slide. So here's the site plan. You can see where the modifications are happening to this house. So there's an addition in the back, as you can see in the middle of the screen. And then there's a porch being added next to the mudroom right along the easterly side of the house. So the east is to the right, coincidentally, on this plan. The north is where Union Street is. But otherwise, the house meets the dimensional requirements. Next slide, please. So here's some neighborhood photographs. This is looking east down Union Street on the north side. Next slide, please. And this is looking east at the house. I would just want to show you the side. So there's no changes happening to the front facade and to the side, except for a couple of windows. The front facade is having a window that's going to become fixed. There's a couple of windows added here, but they're all going to be the 6/6 STLs. And so, but this is the east side, excuse me, the west side looking east on Union Street. Next slide, please. This is further down westerly on Union Street. If any of you ever walked on this street, this kind of stands out. It's obviously the later house with the more recent addition. Next slide. This is looking westerly at the side of the house. That's the mudroom. Where literally that mudroom is staying intact, but the roof is actually hinging up 14 inches to get headroom in that as you go out onto what the porch is. Next. Then this is looking westerly down Union Street. You can see the house like 3 houses down. You see that little red thing sticking out. Next slide, please. And then again, this is another angle of that same direction. Next slide, please. And this is a little bit closer on that easterly side. Next slide, please. And this is the opposite side of the street, just for neighborhood context. Next slide, please. And this is looking down, westerly down the street as well. Next slide. And this is on the northerly side, looking westerly down the street. That's the barn that's on the corner of Woodwell and Union. Next slide. So the proposal is to lift that easterly side porch roof, which is going to be raised 14 inches at 23.7 feet, where the current nonconformity is at 4.1 feet. As a result, that's why we're here seeking the nonconforming setback extension. The area removed in the back of the house, which Kevin's going to go over in a minute, was actually an addition that was done in 2016. It's not of the original structure. That would be replaced with historically thoughtful addition, which Kevin will review for you. They're going to remove the eastern mudroom floor and change the pitch so one can walk into the porch that's being added. As I said earlier, the only change on the front elevation is to affix the first floor window. And then there are new windows going to be added on the westerly and rear elevation. It will be 6/6 STLs with 3D muttons. None of the windows in the home are original. The total new square footage being added to the house, mostly in the back, is 680 square feet. And the existing home is 2,587 square feet, just to give you an idea on probably one of the only conforming lots in that area. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin to go over the plans.
Good evening. I'm Lotami Design. These are the plans we presented to Historic Commission to give you a sense of the house on the property. The top right picture is similar to the picture Lisa showed you looking down Union Street. Top right left picture, that's the west facade where you are the farmer's porch, and you see towards the back of the house on the left is what was a kitchen addition done 2016. Nellie and Dave actually like to cook a lot. So that kitchen is rather insufficient, so we're adding what would be historically appropriate in a house like this, what we call a kitchen L, which will be a 2-story addition. And again, just looking through the pictures of the house and the mass in the house. Next slide. These are the proposed addition, also showing the existing house and then the proposed addition. You guys see. So the upper pictures are of the existing, and lower pictures are being added, and you can see in the lower right, the porch, which is extending off of the mudroom. So that's the right is the existing mudroom. The lower right is the mudroom with the roof removed and put at a less of an angle so that it continues with the porch roof height that you can actually walk underneath it. Then you can also see the kitchen L, the back of the house to the left, bottom right, showing the two-story addition. Next slide. In the back, looking at the upper left, you can see the configuration of the structures. The original house before 2016 was the primary higher roof that you see there on the right side of the drawing. The addition was to the left of that lower roof. We're leaving all of that except for the small addition, which is the kitchen, which is currently a single story. Adding bumping that out in the second, you can see on the lower left-hand side. There's also that small dormer, which doesn't really connect to the other part of the house. So when we do the addition in the lower, you can see that dormer now comes and meets with the two-story addition. So there's a little bit more cohesiveness in the construction. Next slide. That might be it. Any questions?
Well, we may in a moment.
I'm just joking.
So in order to grant a special permit, the board needs to find that there are no new nonconformities and that the proposed changes won't be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing, pre-existing nonconforming structure. Next. So here there is no new nonconformities, and we also think that the board can find that the 14-inch upward extension front yard setback, not at the 4.1, but at the 23 feet, is certainly not going to be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing nonconformity. Next slide, please. So, as I said, but for that front yard setback, this would be an entirely conforming structure. The proposal does not further encroach on that 4.1 feet, rather at 23.7 feet. The proposed addition is in the back and not really visible from the street. Even as you are walking down, going westerly on Union Street, you really won't even be able to see that second story addition in the back. You'll be able to see the porch, but not really the second story part of the addition in the rear part of the house. The proposed new roof line on the easterly porch is a minor change that extends that non-conformity by not more than 14 inches. The proposed shape, volume, and massing of the structure is consistent not only with this structure, but the other historic structures in the neighborhood. And it's very complementary to the historic aspect of this house. 18 Union Street is one of the larger lots in the neighborhood and could indeed handle a much larger addition. But obviously that's not what's being proposed here. Taking all this into consideration and understanding that the word substantially means to a great or significant extent, when used in this context, we don't believe that the board can find that this proposal is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood and would request an approval.
Good, thank you, Attorney Mead. We'll close that portion of the public hearing, but we'll very nearly empty room for comments. Any public comment? Seeing no hands online. And no questions from the board. Any questions?
Hang on. Can you point on the drawing where this 14-inch roof?
You want to go right there. If you look at the existing
So that's gonna
mudroom
be
on the
tipped
top
up,
right,
yeah.
yeah. Then if you look lower,
Yeah.
now it's at a more shallow pitch.
So that 14 inches is extending into the front yard setback?
No, so that mudroom is at 23.7.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Good answer.
23.7 corner.
From the front of that front property line.
Oh, from the, okay.
Right. So it's still not conforming because it has to be at 25. So the current nonconformity is 4.1.
Yeah.
But since this is a 23.7, we're not at 25. So that's an upward extension.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
And it's only an upward at that,
Yeah,
you know, at a triangular.
yeah, I got that part. I didn't get the-
Yeah.
I didn't get, we kept saying front yard, second, on the other side.
Yeah, no, it's from the front yard.
Front yard,
Oh,
gotcha.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything? Yes.
I noticed in the historical commission report, they proved that overall, although some of them felt the addition was kind of large. I noticed in the assessor's records, the house has 2,587 square feet. Do you happen to know with this expansion?
Sure, yeah, and I went over those. I'm sorry that I must have gone fast. So the addition is 680 square feet. So
Isn't replacing, what's the net?
that's the net.
the net.
That's the net, 680. And we had this conversation, I think there's a whole host of reasons that the historic commission approved it. But this lot is a conforming lot. And but for that 14 inches, frankly, we could put a lot bigger addition on there, which is not.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Which is, we always supposed to consider massing and things. And personally, I think it's a very pretty house. It's on the street with quite a few others like it. Kind of a beautiful example of that, 1700s era.
Thank you.
Anything further?
So I just had one, this is just a question, this isn't really anything, I don't think that we can, that would hold you up, this is just a question. On that, the window on the first floor that's gonna be sort of half infill, is that, it looks like on the drawing, you're keeping the frame and the sill, and you're just sort of making it look like the clapboard materials?
Yep, I'm doing what they often do on historic houses, when they change. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll see the whole window.
Right.
It's clapboarded over.
Right, they try to keep the vernacular of the.
Yeah.
But if they need to put a stair in front of it, whatever, they still try to keep it. Sometimes you'll even find the windows still in the wall. So if you ever need to redo it, but ruins the insulation. We need that space for something that's gonna be higher, so we're just gonna fix the upper window and then clap it. So again, in the traditional. Do
Yeah, okay.
Okay, anything further? Nothing, we'll close questions from the board and go into deliberations. Again, we're deliberating criteria for a special permit for non-conformance, which is to things off.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So two-pronged test for special permit for non-conformities. The first hurdle is satisfied in that there is no new non-conformity. Secondly, is it substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than what exists currently? I don't think that is the case. I think you're adding on to it, it's, a reasonable addition, reasonably sized addition, but as we've heard tonight, it's going to be mostly visible from the back. Maybe as you're, walking down and craning your neck, you'll see it. But when you're standing in front of the house, you won't see it. The porch, something nice addition to the house, and it will look the same as it will currently, with the exception of the change in the roof pitch. So for those reasons, I don't see this as being substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than what currently exists, and I can support.
Good, anything further? Seeing nothing further, thank you, Mr. Lyle, that sort of summarizes the criteria. I will close deliberations and we will go to a motion. We have a motion to approve and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit for non-conformities application for 18 Union Street.
Thank you, Mr. Swanton, and seconded by Mr. Black. Motion's made and seconded, calling the roll, Mr. Swanton.
Yes.
Mr. Black.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
Mr. Chen.
Yes.
Yes, that's 5 in the affirmative. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
You too.
That concludes our public hearings for this evening for August 26, 2025. We'll close public hearings and go to our business meeting, which is approval of the minutes of August 12th. 2025. Mr. Shannon, do you have any comments?
I have one. I think it's. I think actually what you wrote down is what was said. I think what was said. They were talking about the FAR. Hold on. They said the increase was only 0.018. That's 0.018. If you change it to percent, it's 1.8%. Because if you do the math, it comes out to 1.8%. So you wrote 0.18%. I think she misled us a little bit. It's 1.8% total. And if you look at the numbers just before that, the way you wrote them, I think it was like 23.2 and then it made it to 25. It's 1 point. But it's not 0.018%. 1.8%. Okay, she can't change what she said. No. I think she did say that. What you wrote, what she said.
Okay.
I believe. I mean, you could listen to it again, I guess. But I think that she said it.
One also. On the 5 Dodge Street, the last paragraph. The first sentence says the application requested continuance. I think it's the applicant.
So back to Bud, given that she's supposed to report what people said, I think it's okay because she did put the explanation in there, so it's, either that or we leave out part of the sentence.
Yeah.
And then it's
You don't just put in sick. That's it, yeah, and then you're done. You don't listen to it again.
I'm a lawyer, what does sick mean?
Yeah. Error is intention.
Yeah. It means, yeah, to the extent this isn't exact, we know that. Brothers and sisters of the bar.
So with those two changes, I move the improvement.
I second.
Motion is made by Mr. Swanton, seconded by Mr. Shannon. All those in favor, voice vote, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstentions, no votes, the ayes have it, motion carries. The amendments, the minutes are approved. So with that, other updates from the chair. I think we've already discussed everything. We had a quick meeting this morning via Zoom with Mr. Swanton, myself, Caitlin, Jennifer Blanchett, and Andy Port to just kind of go through what we thought was going to be this evening. I think that we have to, really stick to the rigor of pressing things forward and being, again, being rigorous to hold the applicant ourselves and the process accountable to a timeline that aspires to actually finish on time, and I think it's a bad way to start with a deficit. And it feels like we're at risk of a deficit just given the starting point, but I think we can make that up. I'm certainly willing. It seems like we're all willing to do a special meeting with notice, where we have nothing competing for our time. As far as whether we get through traffic analysis along with stormwater, remains to be seen, but we can aspire. But as long as we give notice, I think we gotta have. What was it, Jared? It was 2 weeks.
Great, put it in 2 weeks. We get theirs 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Our response 1 week.
Okay. We
Yeah,
also
clear.
just need to make sure that our experts and peer review consultants are aware. While uncomfortable, we share the discomfort equally. And it is what it is. But I think we continue to do what we're doing, and I think Mr. Swanton's instinct, and I think he's not alone in this, is correct. We just can't languish this early in the process. We're already mathematically doomed to then get to the end.
I'm delighted with what we came up with.
Yeah, I think it works. I think it's workable. I don't mind doing it. I actually feel a little bit of like relief to not have to compete with other applications. We just get in here, we're just doing that work, So we continue to, hold ourselves and the audience and the process accountable to like a 10 PM hard stop, which this additional meeting helps us preserve. I think that's important. The moment we slip that, the moment we slip that brain, we start to do whatever we feel we need to. I think, we will find ourselves here very late potentially. I just
Just one, if I was the fourth applicant on the 23rd, I don't know how long you're gonna go with 45 story. So if you're gonna go 2.5 hours, you ask for continuance, and not stay there and realize you'll never get to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna tell, when we open those applications, and I let the audience, and the participants and the applicants, applications know that we're gonna be going 45 story out first. I think I will tell them that it could very well be every bit of the hours we have. It could be something less.
Those haven't even been advertised yet. I mean, that's a month away.
I know,
Maybe they could be pushed out.
I think that we bring them in, I fear, and I hear you, but I don't want to just kick the can forward, because at the end of the day, let's bring them in, what if we can get? What if we
Just
can?
saying, if I'm one of them, the chance of me, it's pretty low. It's a favor to be.
We do try. Let's give them an idea, just like.
I think we can take a chance to sit there, but got a plot hard stuff.
Well, I think that for the first one, it may be a little bit awkward, but subsequent meetings, we won't allow that to happen. We won't have it on the agenda.
Yeah.
But the first one is the crossover instance where, they're already in the pipeline. We can't, we can't unring that bell at the moment, so we just have to we have to deal with the awkwardness, we have to tell them what would do if we had our, deal drummers and next hearing, we'll make sure that we don't even put it on the agenda. Set ourselves. But it'll be awkward just with you. That
Understand.
Make the better the fourth one that night is in the project.
Lisa, they can't tell their own application. See the light.
All right, I think we're, let's just press on, and, I think, we're starting to get a lot of material in, it's very granular. It's important to have all of our experts in the room for the hearings, that we can introduce them and know that, we can call upon the individuals to give us their review, their peer review, so that the public process can hear us hear them. I think that's important.
Giving them a long time.
Then the,
We are giving them a hard stops. The other. Well, at least the first two might be heard, because if we're talking about starting the traffic. That means that those three.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't do that. I think, and this is only again next week, because we won't have it thereafter. So the crossovers for the popular meeting we'll call is the only meeting at risk from that. And I think the only, and I'll put this to you and you tell me if you agree, the only way to address that is to say, we will be at a hard stop, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes before our 10 PM hard stop, or we'll go to 10:30, we can do that. And just say, hey, we're gonna stop this now, because we want to at least get through two of them. So that we have taking a credible effort, trying to get to at least one of them. Probably get to one. But I would like to make sure that we at least try to get to one. If we're not gonna get to any of them, then we're just leaving them on the outset. They should sit in the whole thing. Whole meeting doing 40 meetings.
So you're suggesting a 9:30 hard stop?
For 40B, we started, start shenanigans, right? It's 7:15. We get ready and we hold them accountable to 9:30. That gives us 30 minutes to get into at least one of the other applications. And we gotta let everyone know at the outset that we're will definitely get to one. And we are likely not to get the other. You want to continue this now? 7:13, PM. Let's do that now. And first person on the list, you should hold back. Second and third people on that list, you should continue. And again, just that one night. It's that first next meeting, because after that, we won't let Dr. fill with, with applications that are destined to fail or destined not got to. Legate some of that with a special meeting. You guys
And I'll do another special meeting. You know, a month later.
Yeah, we have lots of tools.
On Tuesdays out there.
Hey, I'm just worried about. trying to make sure No. We feel like, you know. So probably 2 and 3 should get contacted.
Oh, you're saying contact.
This is the decision made last night. That likely you're not,
That's a good idea.
you're not, gives them ample time to prepare. If it's controversial and neighbors were gonna come or whatever.
You know, Thank you for.
That topic, I wanted to, what brought up in my mind was the deadlines for us to vote. So they're pretty short, you know, like for a special permit, I think it's only 90 days, for a variance, 100. So I know staff is probably counting on their fingers to make sure we don't blow any deadlines, but are you getting the applicants, when they come and ask for a continuance, are they also saying, I hereby, you know, are they sending an email following up that they give?
We have a standardized form that we use. We try to always make sure that they've added that notation, they check that box.
I'm thinking, for example, like the one we've been doing on Erie Avenue.
Erie
I
Avenue.
mean, we're gonna be
That's gonna be over the limit now.
That's nine to 23.
right. So, I mean, I would just be, I don't want to blow a deadline. Let's make sure that, I mean, I think
The variance. The special permit is a little more, assumption that the board might have discretion for continuing because there's good cause to continue the hearing, right? Difference in those.
no, I know, I just want to, just so we don't
Oh,
fight with the applicant,
Agreed.
maybe, or, send them an email and saying, confirming that.
Agreed. We do try to do that, and if it's a constant dialogue, I'm just making sure that every applicant, we always try to close loops on these technicals so that there is no documentation and agreement when we get to a situation like this, that the applicant agreed.
Yeah.
And it's on the record that they've agreed to that.
And I do think it's, I mean, it's belt and suspenders because Rob always says, when we're about to deny something.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to you. We can deny you or you can continue.
Right.
So I mean, clearly they're consenting. But I think
We always try to get it right.
game.
I was worried about that with Auburn Street.
Yeah.
How many continuances can you go?
Yeah, I don't remember the dates off the top. Well, when we go back tomorrow, actually, yeah, this thing will be under review, but.
That was in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, with the form, and we have to check it, and the particulars on something, each one, but we have, we usually go to the protocol, same thing that you're getting at. With each application, with each hearing date, the step. Like that typically, with the applicants, or we're circling back and we're trying to, when we run into a situation. Yeah.
Just to pile on to this, that meeting on the 23rd, first one's 20 Erie, the second one's 9 Bromfield. They've both been in front of us a bunch of times. My guess is they're both not going to be really long discussions the next time they come in. I think if they don't agree to continue their time frame, I think we should do the hard stop at 9 o'clock so we can do both of them rather than 9.
Okay. That's.
But if they agree to extend, then I don't.
Yeah, you mean, no discussion that night?
No, what I'm saying is if 20 Erie, well, 20 Erie is the first one up, we'll get to them, with the hard stop. Bromfield.
Yeah.
If they don't agree to an extension and it trips over the time frame,
Yeah,
then I think we need to hard stop earlier and leave them at 9. Let's see it being a long topic.
I agree, because you've already covered it.
So you can tell us at the next meeting whether they've agreed to extend, and if not, we should set the hard stop at 9 o'clock.
We'll take a look at each of the dates right now, and obviously we'll come back. we agree on.
And
Okay.
you didn't want to, you took the rule off, you want to do that tonight?
Oh, no, I apologize, I'm not actually. We actually thought we were gonna take up the next meeting, but again, partly because I actually thought that we were gonna.
Let's put it on the next meeting to take up.
It was on the agenda on the 14th, and then when I looked today, it wasn't there.
Yeah, I noticed it dropped off until earlier today myself, but I wasn't by this one. But or if it wasn't, let's fix that for next time.
We'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get that rule addressed so we can discuss it.
We got an email.
All right, anything further? Motion to adjourn. Hello. All those in favor? Thanks. Adjourn. Thank you guys. We'll work and sin no more.